Merchants are busy gathering and scavenging whatever materials they can to sell to one of the many vicious gangs that lurk on Necromunda.
Welcome to Nayfee Paints. In this video I'll be showing you step by step how I made this scrap merchant cart, the scrap merchant himself and his pet cyber Minotaur. With that, let's crack in. Going now through all the material I used in the build. I got some balsa wood, plasticard rods, these little plastic grates, they're from indoor pot plants, a bunch of chain, bits from my bits box, and the 3 miniatures used was a Minotaur, a Chaos Cultist, and a Killer Can. Using 2 of the bigger grates, I've put them down on a piece of cardboard, traced around them so I've got an outline, and then cut that out with a Stanley knife. With the cardboard cut out, I then glued the 2 grates onto it, and as easy as that was, I've got a nice tray for my cart. Using a piece of balsa wood, I'm just measuring out the pieces I'll need to make the 4 walls of the cart. To weather up the wood, I've used some wire from a kitchen strainer. So I've cut out a piece of the wire, rolled it up so I got a bunch of little wires dangling out at one end. And with the ends of the wires, I'm just going back and forward scratching up the balsa wood. Going back and forth over the balsa wood like this will slowly weather it up, giving you a nice worn piece of wood. To attach the wheels, I've just measured out where I want to put the L brackets with some super glue, put those into position. With a round plasticard rod, I've just run these through the holes of the L brackets, and on each end I've just glued on the 2 Orc truck wheels. For the front section that will hold the chains in place, I think this piece is of some sort of Imperial Guard or Space Marine kit. I've cut this piece in half, glued it to a piece of plasticard, trimmed that to size and mounted it on the front. Using a roll bar off the Orc truck kit again, I've glued this into the corner on the back end of the cart. This not only makes the model look like cooler, it helps reinforce the model because it sticks to both the side and the back panel. On the front panel and corners of the cart, I've added some plasticard sheets and rods. Again, this helps reinforce the model a little bit. This also adds armor panels and detail to the model. For the driver's platform, I've used one of the smaller pot plant pieces, cutting it to size with some scissors and then cleaning it up with my Stanley knife. To sit it at the same height as the 2 tray walls, I've cut away at the front piece of balsa wood. I've glued in the platform with some super glue, and to reinforce that, I've placed an L bracket on the back of it and glued that down. And to fill in the 2 gaps on the sides, I've just used some off-cart plasticard sheeting. For the 2 legs at the front, I've just used some square plasticard rod, cut it to size and glued those on. For the bottom of the cart, I've gone to the square plasticard rod, measured, cut and glued this into position. Now to give the merchant his high quality chair he's always deserved, I've used 3 pieces of the off-cut balsa wood, stacked 3 little pieces on top of each other and glued those down. Then to fix these into position, I got myself some small screws, applied a little bit of super glue to the screws and screwed these down. Putting in the 2 screws not only strengthens the chair, but also gives it that high quality appearance. The next thing to do on the cart is to make some signs. To make these, I've used some I-beam plasticard rods and some off-cut plasticard sheeting. To make the signs, it's super easy. Just turn the I-beam sideways, slide in the plasticard, applying some super glue. With the sign built, I just glued it onto the cart. last step of the cart is just deciding where all this junk goes in the cart. So I've just taken all these bits here and glued them in the cart. With all the pieces glued in, I'm really happy the way it looks, but now it's time to move on to the Minotaur and the merchant himself. Onto the Minotaur now. For this right arm here, I've made a cut at his forearm and then glued on a kilocan drill piece. The head and his back I've removed my clippers and replaced this with a spine from a Necron model. I also want to replace his left leg. Unfortunately, this is moulded into the model. I've just hacked at this leg with my clippers and Stanley knife until the leg was removed. Replaced it with a kilocan's leg, and the gap where his butt cheek used to be, I've had to fill this in with some epoxy putty and give him a cheek implant. For the left arm, it's the same as the right. I just cut at the forearm, but on this arm, I attached a big mech wrench. This will help him crush any foes and also pick up any goods when required. To give the Minotaur more of a cyborg appearance, this was really simple to do. I just took my drill, drilled a few holes into random spots on the model, and in these holes I just plugged in some wires, and I did this step around the model in a few different spots. It's really easy and fast to do and makes such a difference to the model. To make the Minotaur a cybernetic eye, I had to go to a smoke launcher. I think this is from the Chaos Rhino kit. So I carefully cut away one of the little smoke launcher sections, shaved it down until I had the right size. Then with my drill, I just drilled out his eyeball and then implanted his new cybernetic eye. For the chain around the drill arm, it was super easy. Just cut myself a length of chain, wrapped it around until I was happy, glued that into position with some super glue, and cut away the excess with my clippers. With some Tamiya epoxy putty, it's a two-part putty. I've just mixed this together. With it mixed together, I've filled in any gaps around the model and also put his butt cheek implant in and attempted to sculpt the belt above the butt cheek. With the little merchant, I've only swapped his arms, so this left arm here is from a Adaptus Mechanicus kit, and the right arm is from an Ungor Arrow Boy. I'll be attaching the Minotaur to the cart with some chains, so to do this we need to put an implant in his back. So using one of my cogs, I've just cut it up and got myself two smaller pieces, drilled some holes where the cog will fit into. To attach him to the cart, I run the chain through the cog and then back over to the cart. On the cart connection here, I've put in 4 little dividers, so each chain will go into one of the little sections. To make a little chain link, I've just used a piece of wire, twisted it around the link, and then put a bit of super glue on that. The second last thing to do was add some battle damage to the cart. So using my hobby knife and my drill, I've just gone around adding some bullet holes, dints and nicks into the cart. The last thing I did, but I forgot to film it, was adding all the rivets around the cart. The merchant, Minotaur and cart are now built and ready for the tabletop. In the next video I'll be showing you how to paint those. But with that, the model's done. Thanks for watching Nayfee Paints. If you liked the video, please click the sub button or leave me a like. If there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch ya.